On June 25th, 2009, the world stopped for the King of Pop. But the real shockwave hit later, when the doors to Michael Jackson's inner world, his financial records, his personal property, and the secretive sanctuary of Neverland were finally opened. What the executors discovered left the world absolutely speechless. It wasn't just the millions of dollars or the countless awards. It was a bizarre, almost unbelievable paradox. A man buried under mountains of debt, yet who left behind a $2 billion empire. An artistic genius whose final inventory included deeply disturbing artifacts. And a father whose legacy was instantly entangled in endless legal war. This is the truth behind Michael Jackson's sealed estate. A truth stranger and more tragic than anyone imagined. The first shocking revelation upon his death wasn't a secret room, but a balance sheet. Despite being one of the most successful entertainers in history, Michael Jackson died with his finances in catastrophic disarray.
I have protected Michael up till now. The guy who could not pay me for months after taking care of him. And they said that he could not pay for the popsicle his daughters were using, the toilet paper that they were using to wipe their private areas, that he was penniless. I was shocked.
Court filings revealed he was staggering under over $500 million in debt. A staggering figure that left many wondering if his estate could even afford the massive liabilities, including the $40 million owed for the canceled This Is It tour. His exorbitant spending habits, his art collecting, and the maintenance of Neverland had bled his accounts dry.
2005. It was estimated that he was bringing in about $20 million a year. That came from royalties from songs, both his own and the Beatles catalog. He was never going on the road anymore, and the way a musician really makes a lot of money is going out on the road, and so he was only bringing in $20 million a year. But he was spending $30 to $40 million a year. He would go on these lavish spending sprees in Las Vegas, in Europe, in Asia, and that was Michael Jackson's really his downfall financially as his life grew to an end.
The true genius of the estate, however, was in the posthumous financial management. The executors, John Branca and John McClane, performed one of the greatest corporate turnarounds ever by leveraging his immense intellectual property. His music catalog, licensing, the This Is It film, and the Cirque du Soleil shows. They not only settled every penny of the debt, but transformed the estate into an entity now valued at over $2 billion. The financial shock wasn't his debt, but the realization that his legacy was worth billions more than he was alive. The most chilling part of the estate's initial inventory was found in the private rooms of his rented Los Angeles mansion, the scene of his death. Investigators didn't find the typical party drugs. They found the inventory of a makeshift, high-risk surgical suite. Dozens of prescription bottles were discovered, some unlabeled, but most shockingly, the drug propofol.
Late today, unsealed court records confirm the LA coroner has concluded the pop singer died of a lethal amount of that powerful anesthetic propofol.
Michael Jackson's doctor, who was with the pop star the night he died, says he was trying to wean him off of the potentially lethal pain medication. But that didn't stop the doctor from administering one last dose that the coroner now says ended Michael Jackson's life.
This powerful anesthetic, known as milk of amnesia, is meant only for hospital operating rooms, administered by a trained anesthesiologist. Yet, bottles of it, along with anti-anxiety benzodiazepines like lorazepam and midazolam, were found in his bedroom.
I was his closest friend. You see, indeed I was Michael's doctor. But I spent more time with him as a friend than taking care of him medically. I love Michael. I will mourn his loss forever.
Michael, unable to find sleep after decades of stress, had been desperate enough to ask for the drug long before his death, only to be refused by ethical doctors. The estate's physical inventory here was not of possessions, but of the chemical agents that ultimately led to his death, officially ruled a homicide caused by acute propofol intoxication. The contents of that room spoke volumes about the star's final, desperate struggle for rest. The Neverland Ranch property offered up its own layer of secrets. Beyond the amusement park, the estate's audit led to the unlocking of secluded areas, including a long-sealed garage, untouched for over a decade. Inside, among luxury vehicles like a custom Rolls-Royce and a bulletproof Mercedes-Benz, was a simple, unremarkable 1993 Ford van. This van wasn't just transportation. It was a personal, creative sanctuary. It contained Michael's handwritten notebooks detailing unreleased creative ideas, personal cassettes, and blueprints for ambitious world tours. These findings were crucial, painting a detailed picture of a man still desperately fighting for his artistry and future, even as his world crumbled around him. The estate's records also brought the darkest, most contentious aspects of his life back into the spotlight. The inventory confirmed the finding of highly relevant, controversial books seized during the 1993 police raid. These books, featuring photographs of unclothed or semi-nude boys, were authored by individuals with disturbing ties to pedophilia and promoted by NAMBLA. Though Michael Jackson publicly denied knowledge of these items, his own defense later admitted that he had seen them and even wrote notes inside the cover of one.
When you're talking about children, we met Gavin. When Gavin was there, he talked about the fact that he shares your bedroom.
Yes.
But is it really appropriate for a 44-year-old man to share a bedroom with a child who is not related to him at all?
That's a beautiful thing.
Perhaps the most protracted shock the estate delivered was the legal war it ignited. Jackson's estate has been caught in a continuous, high-stakes battle over its true worth and distribution. The first major battle was with the IRS, which initially valued Jackson's name and likeness, the value of his image alone, at an astonishing $434 million, claiming the estate owed hundreds of millions in taxes. The estate vehemently disagreed, arguing his image was nearly worthless due to the scandals. The court eventually sided closer to the estate, valuing his likeness at only $4 million. But the dispute over taxation still plagues the trust today. Even more heartbreaking has been the internal family conflict. Michael's children, Prince, Paris, and Biggie, have been locked in highly public feuds with their grandmother, Katherine Jackson, and the executors over the sale of major assets and the payment of legal fees. The vast fortune, intended to bring his family peace, instead became a constant source of public and painful legal fighting. The final, most eerie twist came as the estate prepared Neverland for eventual sale, years after Jackson's death. One specific area, untouched since the day Jackson abandoned the property in 2005, was identified and finally opened. A sealed attic above his main residence. This space wasn't just dusty storage. It was the silent culmination of the deepest secrets the King of Pop took with him. When the door creaked open, investigators were met with a time capsule of profound disturbance. The inventory of the attic and subsequent documents allegedly included child-themed toys, private photographs, personal tapes, and alleged disguises Michael might have used to conceal his identity. The discovery was deeply unsettling, not just for the family and the executors, but for a global audience already grappling with the abuse claims. This physical evidence, combined with the public re-examination of his history in the Leaving Neverland documentary, served as the final, devastating blow to his already fractured public image. The estate's opening offered no closure. Instead, they simply opened the door to more painful questions, cementing the shocking paradox of Michael Jackson's life. A musical messiah whose private world was dominated by mystery, doubt, and undeniable perpetual tragedy. Michael Jackson's estate is a painful, billion-dollar testament to a life defined by extremes. Financial ruin turned into a corporate empire, and artistic genius forever marred by the chaotic, disturbing contents of his private rooms. The shocking inventory may be known, revealing the star's desperate final hours and his disturbing private interests.